あ、大丈夫だね。ああ、OK。
cek satu. Halo, cek satu. Satu, cek. Satu, cek satu. Satu, halo, satu, cek. Halo, halo, cek kurang nih. Cek satu, ha, cek, oke. Halo, cek satu, cek. Cek satu, ha, cek, halo. Halo, halo, cek satu, halo, halo, satu, cek, oke. Halo, cek satu, oke.
Welcome delegates and all participants. Welcome to the Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing in Jakarta, Indonesia. Baik, kami persilakan kepada para tamu undangan yang sudah hadir pada siang hari ini untuk dapat menempati tempat duduk yang telah kami sediakan. Sekali lagi, kami undang Anda yang sudah hadir pada siang hari ini untuk dapat menempati tempat duduk yang telah kami sediakan. Terima kasih. Baik, sekali lagi kami undang Anda yang sudah hadir di ruangan ini untuk dapat menempati tempat duduk yang telah disediakan karena sesaat lagi acara akan segera kami mulai. Sekali lagi untuk para hadirin yang sudah di dalam ruangan ini, kami harapkan untuk dapat menempati tempat duduk yang telah kami sediakan karena sesaat lagi acara akan segera dimulai. Terima kasih. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, delegates, and also all participants. Welcome to International Flood Initiative, or IFI, side event of the 8th meeting of HELP with the topic of flood resilience under climate change is essential to sustainable development. May we give a big round of applause to all of us here. Thank you very much. And my name is Natasha, and I'm very honored to be your host for this afternoon. Before we proceed to the next program, I'd like to welcome our guests of honor for this afternoon. Welcome to His Excellency Dr. Han Seung-soo as the Special Envoy of the Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Water, Chair of High-Level Expert and Leader Panel on Water and Disaster. Welcome. His Excellency Dr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, Minister of Public Works and Public Housing, the Republic of Indonesia. Welcome. His Excellency Dr. Masafumi Mori, Vice Minister for Engineering Affairs, Ministry of Land Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, Japan. Welcome. His Excellency Dr. Aung Tu, Minister, Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation, Republic of the Union of Myanmar. Welcome. And also we'd like to welcome all delegates and all participants to the Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing in Jakarta, Indonesia. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have all of you here for this agenda of IFI site event. And prior to that, I'd like to invite Mr. Danis Hidayat Sumadilaga as the Director General for Research and Development, Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing, the Republic of Indonesia, to come to the podium and give the introductory remarks. Please welcome Mr. Danis Hidayat Sumadilaga.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Dr. Han Seung-soo, Chair of Health, Special Envoy to the United Nations Secretary General, Your Excellency, Dr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, Minister of Public Works and Housing, Your Excellency, Dr. Masafumi Mori, Vice Minister for Engineering Affairs, MLIT, Japan, Your Excellency, Dr. Aung Tu, Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation, Republic of the Union of Myanmar. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It has been a great honor for Indonesia to be appointed as the host country for this very important international seminar. For this, I welcome all the participants to City of Jakarta and also welcome to our office, Ministry of Public Works and Housing. In water-related disaster, floods are disasters that very often occur in Indonesia. In the last decade, floods that occur in Indonesia reached 31.8% of all disasters in Indonesia, and causing many casualties of both life and property in Indonesia. Jakarta floods in 2007 causing property losses of 4.3 trillion rupiah. In 2014, floods hit Manado and caused 25 people die, 1 missing, and 40,000 people were evacuated to a safer place. Recently, on September 9, 2016, a big flood has been occurred in Garut, West Java, causing the loss of up to 288 billion rupiah. 34 people died, 19 people missing, and more than 6,000 people were forced to evacuate away from their home. The increase of changing land use in the watershed, high rainfall with intensity of 255 millimeters, and the Chimanuk River silting are some of the causes of Garut flooding. Floods are natural phenomena that has an enormous impact on biodiversity and sustainability of ecosystem and many human activities. It is widely recognized that a paradigm shift from defensive action to the proactive management is required for flood risk reduction strategy. The flood management vision in Indonesia is to integrate land and water resources development in a river basin with a view to maximizing the efficient use of floodplains and to minimizing loss of life and property. While the flood management goal in Indonesia is the coordination among three aspects of flood control, which consists of 1. Measure in the spatial planning through give space for the river policy. Also, its space in catchment area should contribute to decrease runoff. 2. Retaining water in the upstream to the efforts of watershed management, developing retention and recharge area. 3. Enhance a public awareness through early warning system, floodplain management, and flood fighting preparation. The concept of integrated flood management was proposed as a process promoting a holistic risk-based approach to flood management that aims at minimizing loss from flooding under climate change and maximizing the next benefit from the use of floodplains. Today, through this event, we will jointly review and discuss the key idea of the revised strategy and the implementation of planning framework of IFI. I cordially hope that all stakeholders can make a wonderful collaboration in achieving the goal of this event, which is to realize the IFM for reducing flood risk under climate change and contributing to sustainable development. Thus, we can deliver message and recommendation to the relevant major UN activities, including the United Nations World Bank Group High-Level Panel on Water. Lastly, I wish you all the pleasant time during the International Flood Initiative side event held here in Jakarta. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Danis, for the introductory remarks. You may return to your seat. And next, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to invite to come to the podium His Excellency Dr. Han Seung-soo as the United Nations Special Envoy on Water and Disaster, and also former Prime Minister of the Republic of Korea, to deliver keynote address. Please welcome Dr. Han Seung-soo.
Your Excellency, Minister Basuki Hadimulyono, Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation and thanks to the government of Indonesia, and particularly to Minister Basuki for hosting and supporting this important event today and tomorrow. Thank you very much. I'm also very pleased to meet with the members of the International Flood Initiative who are here today. Ladies and gentlemen, water is life. Water is an integral, inseparable part of our life. Water is a precious resource which we must manage and utilize with care. Water is at the same time a threat, can be a threat to life. During the past decade, water-related disasters have not only struck more frequently, but have also been more severe, hampering sustainable development by causing political, social, and economic upheaval in many countries. Water-related disasters such as floods, droughts, storm surges, and tsunami account for over 90% of all disasters in terms of the number of people affected. During the Sendai conference in March last year, 193 United Nations member states agreed on the post-2015 disaster risk reduction framework, outlining 7 targets and 4 priorities for action. The Sendai framework puts a strong emphasis on disaster risk management as opposed to disaster reaction and post-disaster reconstruction. In September 2015, world leaders were gathered together at the United Nations in New York. Unanimously, they agreed to adopt a new global development agenda with 17 sustainable development goals and 169 targets. We now have a dedicated water goal and disaster risk reduction appearing as cross-cutting themes within several goals and targets. A target for reducing mortality and economic losses caused by disasters, including water-related disasters, was also included. The SDG on water moves beyond the MDG's focus on basic access targets to address the broader challenges of achieving universal access to safe water, protecting water resources, ensuring sustainability, promoting transboundary cooperation, and reaching the poorest. The issue of water and disaster must be addressed if we hope to make sustainable development a reality. We must share our experiences and lessons learned, strengthen regional cooperation and collaboration, and set common goals and targets in order to lay a foundation for weathering the water-related disasters and make progress towards creating a better prepared and resilient society. All these elements should be translated into clearest messages and practical advice for decision makers to create effective policies and mechanisms that address water and disaster issues appropriately at all levels. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a critical juncture for our common future. The issue of water and disaster must be addressed if we hope to make sustainable development a reality. It is our decision whether we continue to exist, to serve as business as usual towards down spiral of non-preparedness, recurrent disasters, and economic social stagnation, or we achieve paradigm shift by embedding disaster risk reduction in our lives and livelihood every day. In January this year, the United Nations Secretary General and the President of the World Bank Group established a high-level panel on water comprising 11 incumbent heads of state and government and 1 special advisor. The panel is the first of its kind, where the head of state and government gather for focused discussion on water-related issues for 2 years, until the end of next year. I, as a special advisor to the panel, have actively been taken part in discussion and activities with my fellow member presidents and prime ministers for our common cause. The panel agreed on the action plan in September 21st this year. Water-related disaster risk reduction is up in the front of action plan, which is the first time in the United Nations related document and recommendations. Here in the action plan, there are few concrete actions on water and disasters the panel has committed itself to make happen in collaboration with the countries and partners. I like to quote from the action plan. 1, encourage the consideration of an intergovernmental platform of water cooperation under the United Nations umbrella to support the implementation of water-related SDGs. 2, initiate an analysis of water crisis risks from climate change and extreme weather events in areas identified as most vulnerable, and also analysis of good practice on managing mega floods and droughts, including validation of investment for water-related disaster risk reduction. 3, encourage states and organizations to focus on measures to improve water use efficiency for resilient economies, climate action, and human settlement by encouraging and including new technologies and policy reforms. 4, encourage the academic community to maximize the use of existing knowledge and create knowledge base and tools for better understanding the impacts of water-related disasters and facilitate decision-making for prevention and mitigation of risks. 5, initiate a strong political message on the critical importance of water data to effectively address water problems. Lastly, encourage the international community to collect consistent and continuous data on water-related disasters that will assist the development of indicators and enable governments to set priorities, engage citizens in an inclusive way, and measure progress. I believe that these recommended actions are in line with what we will discuss here today and tomorrow. Particularly for addressing flood risk reduction, we need a strategic approach to achieve the 3 global agenda of minimizing economic loss, saving human lives, and guaranteeing sustainable and equitable development. For this, what actions do we need? Taking into account the 6 recommended action items of the high-level panel on water, I emphasize the importance of the following actions by key players. Countries should establish a flood platform as a part of national platforms with the help of international networks. Countries should also collect and archive data, assess current and future risks, demonstrate effects of flood risk reduction investment, define locally applicable methodology, and monitor and predict changes. At the same time, stakeholders should make well-informed decisions and improve their practices. Donors should support collaboration among countries, stakeholders, and partners in progressive manner so as that good practices are widely learned, applied, and operate in other communities, countries, and regions. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the event today will provide an opportunity to discuss the challenges and solutions toward achieving the SDGs related to water and disaster from a wide spectrum, and will provide opportunities to promote and further consolidation, cooperation, and partnership. I want to also learn from the cases of Indonesia, know its challenges, and witness the commitment and ongoing efforts toward water security. In my capacity as UN Secretary General Special Envoy for Disaster Risk Reduction, Chair of High-Level Panel on Water and Disaster, and Special Advisor to High-Level Panel on Water, I will do my best in utilizing my network and experience in working with relevant partners to address diverse water issues we face and thereby contribute to the global sustainable development. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Dr. Hang Seung-soo. You may return to your seat. And next, we'd like to invite His Excellency Dr. Basuki Hadimulyono as the Minister of Public Works and Public Housing, the Republic of Indonesia, to come to the stage and give keynote address. Please welcome Dr. Basuki Hadimulyono.
Before I start with my speech, let me introduce my team. First, as you know, Dr. Dani Sumadilaga, DG of Research and Development. Engineer Imam Santoso, Director General for Water Resources. And Dr. Ari Setiadi, Director General for Road and Bridges. Thank you. Your Excellency, Chair of the HELP, Special Envoy to the United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Water, Dr. Han Seung-soo. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministries, distinguished ministries, it is a great honor for me to deliver on behalf of the Governor of Indonesia in this International Flood Initiative as a side event of the HELP meeting tomorrow. Regions in Indonesia are vulnerable area to the disaster, natural disaster such as tsunami. The tsunami has already occurred in Sumatra, in the Java, southern coast of Java, and then also southern coast and north coast of Nusa Tenggara, Maluku Islands, and also in the Papua Island, and almost in the entire coast of Sulawesi. In the period of 1600 to 2000, it's about 32 tsunamis in this area, with 28 of them caused by the earthquakes and 4 by volcanic eruption under the sea. The biggest tsunami in the world occurred in Aceh on December 2004. It had the magnitude of 9.2 Richter scale, with mortality level not less than 250,000 inhabitants. It followed by the tsunami in Nias, about 2015, that's caused by the earthquake with a magnitude of 8.7 Richter scale. The victims were up to at least 1,300 people. Other water-related disasters were Pangandaran tsunami in 2006, that was caused by an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.7 Richter scale, and Mentawai tsunami in the west coast of Sumatra with 7.2 magnitude Richter scale earthquake and at least 660 victims. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia has tropical climate with 2 seasons, dry and rainy seasons. It also has quite extreme characteristics in weather, temperature, and wind direction changes. Climate condition combined with the surface topography and soil diversity, both physically and chemically, can generate fertile soil condition. However, it also may cause some injurious effects for humans caused by hydrometeorological disasters such as floods, landslides, drought, and forest fires. Floods and landslides are happen in many locations in Indonesia and cause hundreds of victims, destruction of residences and other infrastructures, as well as losses of local businesses. Floods are natural disasters that caused by heavy rainfall with no ideal drainage system in the catchment, then inundating in the enormous areas and the overflow of a river that could not resist the high flow water, damaging the water system in the area. Floods disaster occurred in Garut in just last month, September 2016, caused more than 33 people died, more than 1,000 refugees and material loss up to 280 billion rupiahs. Even today, Dr. Han just in Bandung, and maybe you can still see the floods in Bandung. It happens annually, and now we will begin to overcome that flood by making a tunnel to faster the flow of the Citarum flood. Distinguished guests, ADB, through the ASEAN Water Development Outlook in 2013, stated that resilience to water-related disasters, such as floods and drought, is still very vulnerable. Household Water Security Index regarding mainly access to pipe water is not optimal. Urban Water Security Index that describes the conditions of urban water, raw water supply, wastewater, and drainage is also not optimal. Environmental Water Security Index is in a good category because it has a system for applying the integrated water resources management conducted by river basin organization. However, there is a positive note that Indonesia obtained high score on Economic Water Security Index because the supply for irrigation water is assured by the government. Water potential in Indonesia is about 3.9 trillion cubic meter in total, but only about 15 billion cubic meter or 63.5 cubic meter per capita can be managed by the man-made reservoirs. The water distribution is also uneven in every island. In addition, there are challenges to be anticipated in order for the water security programs in Indonesia are not disrupted. The challenges are the indication of climate change, high rate conversion of watershed land used, reducing the water infiltration area, and the capacity of operation and maintenance on river and flood control infrastructure are not yet optimal. The efforts to achieve water resilience are implemented through 3 programs as follows. First, the water resources conservation programs, which will be realized with target as 1, construction for about 65 dams, 1,893 ponds, and other reservoir structures. Also, we are going to rehabilitate for about 46 dams and 1,175 ponds and other reservoir structures, and restoration for 55 rivers, revitalization for 17 lakes, and conservation for 29 swamps, and constructs 180 sediment controls or check dams that we cooperate with other ministry, like Ministry for Environment and Forest. The second program for water resilience is the projected water resource utilization program that will be implemented with focuses on construction and development to increase the capacity of water resources infrastructures, and also rehabilitation on the water resources infrastructure up to 21.76 cubic meter per second. And the third program is the water-related disaster control. The activities to realize these programs are constructing and enhancing the function and condition to the infrastructure of coastal protection with a length of at least 530 kilometers, normalization and embankment construction on river, and enlarging the protected area caused by the water-related disaster up to 200,000 hectares. Ladies and gentlemen, Ministry of Public Works and Housing has a Center of Hydroinformatics Study. By integrating static and dynamic data, the center provides services on hydrological and water resources information with lead time of the next 10 days and 32 days. In addition, early warning system of flood and landslide disaster are also published by this center. This system is still being improved, and it is accessible in the applicative warning system that is required a fast response and countermeasure action to the water-related disaster. The applicative warning system which can be operated are as follows. First is a flood early warning system presenting the scale of flood in Indonesian map. The second, risk and early warning system of flood to the river basin organization for current day and the next 3 days. Third, the drought early warning system in especially Java Island. And the fourth is the real time of water availability data in Java and Sumatra, supporting system information water availability main irrigation system to be more effective operation on the irrigation system in Indonesia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a strong commitment is required to implement all the programs, structurally and non-structurally, preventing and solving the crisis of water-related disaster. The structural effort is done through the water resources infrastructures construction such as dams, drainage canal, polder, and pumps. And the non-structural effort is done with the water-saving efforts, integrated water resources management of watershed, early warning system for public awareness and emergency response. Early warning system for flood and drought are useful for reducing risk effects, such as victim material losses and decreasing the disturbance on economy comprehensively. All programs must be implemented simultaneously in line with the dictum, water resilience will support the public prosperity. I would like to congratulate to the committee of IFI for the excellent arrangement on this seminar. I trust all the participants are enjoying your stay in Indonesia. I also would like to thank the Help Secretariat for supporting the organization of this meeting. I thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Basuki Adi Mulyono, for your speech. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we're going to hear a message from a donor. Therefore, we'd like to invite to come to the stage Mr. Bambang Susantono as the Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development, Asian Development Bank. Please welcome Mr. Bambang Susantono.
Bismillah. Excellencies, Dr. Basuki Adi Mulyono, Minister of Public Works and Public Housing of Indonesia, Excellencies, Dr. Han Sing So, United Nations Special Envoy, Honorables, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is a great pleasure for me to join all of you in this International Flood Initiative event on the sideline of the 8th meeting of the high-level experts and leaders panels on water and disasters, and to engage in a more in-depth discussion on the crucial issues of floods. Let me start by saying that the Asian Development Bank developing member countries experience significant losses as a consequence of floods. Over the past 10 years alone, floods have caused almost 41,000 fatalities, affected 726 million people, and resulted in direct physical losses totaling $207 billion. Extreme weather events more broadly, including tropical cyclones, which can also cause severe flooding, resulted in almost 222,000 fatalities, affected 1.3 billion people, and caused $322 billion in direct physical loss. Reflecting the region's substantial flood risk, some of ADB's very earliest projects focused on flood risk management. Technical assistance projects in support of flood control in Afghanistan and actually in Indonesia were approved in 1970. ADB's first disaster risk management loan was approved 2 years later, also for Indonesia, focusing on flood control. More recent ADB investment in flood risk management have involved a far wider range of measures. For example, this October, we approved $109 million loan to support flood risk management in Banten and Maluku in Indonesia, coupling infrastructure investment with supporting measures such as flood risk management plans. Support will be given to river basin management organizations to prepare, for example, flood resilient infrastructure and develop measures against problems such as sediment transport. Communities will be given help to implement soil and water conservation activities. And community-based flood risk management group established and strengthened to provide a clearer picture of risk and countermeasures. Over time, ADB have fine-tuned our post-disaster assistance as well, remaining focused on the reconstruction of infrastructure, but incorporating measures to strengthen resilience to future national hazard events through both structural measures to build back better and through non-structural solutions. For example, a flood reconstruction loan approved for Pakistan last year included support for institutional capacity development, multi-hazard risk assessment data and system development, and pilot sub-projects for mitigation and adaptations of the climate change. At a higher strategic level, ADB incorporates long-term visions, Strategy 2020, identifies disaster and emergency assistance as one of ADB area of operations. In 2014, ADB launched a new operational plan focusing specifically on disaster risk management, further invigorating its effort to strengthen disaster resilience. The operational plan is built on three basic principles. First, it seeks to integrate disaster risk reduction into development, ensuring that all development is disaster resilient. Second, the plan emphasizes the intersection between disaster risk management and climate change adaptations. Third, it seeks to ensure that there are adequate financing arrangements in place to reduce risk and to manage and transfer residual risk. Risk reduction is often the most cost-efficient form of expenditure, reducing disaster losses before they occur. The timely availability of funding for post-disaster response is also essential, requiring much greater use of ex-ante disaster risk financing instruments such as insurance. Asia and the Pacific is far more severely affected by disasters than any other region in the world. I think we all know that fact. We urgently need to build on the agenda laid out in our operational plan and also critically into Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG, the Sendai Framework on Disaster Risk Reduction, and individual country disaster risk management strategies and plans. Investing in resilience space, particularly if we think about disaster risks from the outside, taking a multi-hazard approach. Adequate disaster proofing of a new project can add as little as 3 to 5% to the total cost. The monetary costs of retrofitting or post-disaster reconstruction are far higher, not to mention the human cost of disasters. Moreover, the need to build resilient infrastructure is more important than ever. Investment in infrastructures are going to escalate rapidly over the next 15 to 20 years, presenting a pivotal opportunity to do things differently and halt the escalation in disaster risk. If we miss this opportunity, future disaster losses will be even more severe, and Asia and the Pacific will likely bear the brunt of them. ADB itself will have a hand in meeting the increasing need for investment and influencing the nature of investments. From January 2017, ADB is combining its concessional equity and lending operation with its ordinary capital reserve balance sheets, allowing to raise its annual financing commitments in the form of loans, guarantees, equity investment, and grants by up to 40%, taking total approval up to as much as 18 billion per annum in the coming years. We are already putting plans in place to ensure that disaster and climate risks are prioritized in these projects. In September 2015, ADB announced that it will double its annual climate finance from ADB own resources to $6 billion by 2020. A third of this, around $2 billion, will be for climate change adaptations, representing around a six-fold increase specifically for adaptations measures. The remaining $4 billion will be for climate change mitigations. Earlier this year, ADB donors also agreed to provide up to $200 million in grants over the period of 2017 to 2020 to ADB poorest and most debt-distressed countries, specifically for disaster risk reductions. ADB will provide up to an additional $224 million in concessional loans for this purpose. This is the first time that concessional resources have been earmarked for a specific purpose, reflecting the increasingly urgent need to encourage greater investment in disaster resilience. Honorable distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me close by saying that ADB cannot stem the trend of rising disaster losses alone. We need to act together, coordinating our efforts and pooling best practices. The dialogue is an important part of this process, and I look forward to forging further coherence and alliance with the many learned participants here today. I thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Bambang Santono. And now, delegates and all participants. Next, we're going to invite Professor Toshio Koike as the Director of iCharm to give a speech about IFI new strategy and implementation planning framework. Please welcome Professor Toshio Koike.
Excellency, Dr. Hansus, and ministers and distinguished guests. It is my great pleasure to introduce International Flood Initiative with these high-level persons and also the large number of the participants here in Jakarta. As introduced in this here, this international initiative, IFY, was initiated by the effort of the UNESCO and also the WMO. And in 2005, 10 years ago, at the Second World Conference on Disaster Risk in Kobe, this was launched. And this IFI is promoting integrated flood management by minimizing flood risk and also maximizing the net benefit of the use of the floodplain. This is closely related to the integrated water resources management and the 3 global agenda which was agreed last year, including Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction and Sustainable Development Goals and Paris Agreement. And we renew our strategy on IFI by identifying supporting tool, database, science and technology, local, national, regional initiatives, and capacity building and financial mechanism. And also, we identified a focus area, 7 focus areas, and also we are trying to engage our collaborative stakeholders. So, based on this strategy, we identify 5 key implementation actions. One is the data and statistics, and based on this data and statistics, secondly, we are implementing integrated risk assessment. And also, we need to monitor and predict the change of the risks. So, based on these 3 more scientific and technological approach, we are supporting in sound decision or policy making, and also we are supporting in community of practice. These 5 key implementation actions are the basis of our initiative. And we identify the implementation strategy as a first step by using making a maximum use of the existing infrastructure. We are going to demonstrate the benefit to be obtained through this initiative to the wide community. And by mobilizing the finance and also the human resources, we would have a second stage by installing the infrastructure in some specific area as a prototyping. Based on this prototyping and expanding and strengthening of these prototypes, we would develop the operational system. So this is our 3-step spiral up the implementation framework. So for that purpose, we need develop the regional coordination, cooperation, and also a local one should be developed. So to realize these steps in each country, there are disaster agency or hydromet department or river bureau or university or local community. Our IFI partner, including the United Nations ISDR, WMO, UNESCO, United Nations University, and the network of the Asian River Basin Organization, NARBO, and our ICHAM and the Science Community, International Association for the Hydrological Science and Hydraulic Research, we have some connection with a stakeholder in each country. We need to strengthen this collaborative framework one by one, and develop a strong cooperative framework in each country. At the same time, as a cross-cutting coordination among the different countries, we would develop the regional cooperative framework. This is our strategy. So, to enforce this mechanism, we need Earth observation community's support. So in some countries, we have a space agency. In Indonesia, you have a LAPAM. And in other countries, they don't have, but the Earth observation community can work with us. I do expect their contribution. So how can we move this mechanism forward? We are now making this kind of the table or project design matrix. This is each country. We identify common purposes, common goals, and common output, and some specific output, and contributor of the contribution by the IFI partners. And at the same time, in each country, this is a case of the Philippines, in the same way, the purpose and output and action, and also the executor in each country and expected IFI partners. This kind of the table draft the design project design matrix is now being prepared. So by communicating among among the countries and the IFI partners, we would make a more concrete implementation plan. In January, we will have a first planning workshop on the IFI in Asian Pacific, and in conjunction with GEOS, Global Earth Observation System of Systems in Asian Pacific Symposium. It will be held from 11th and 13th in the same venue. We would work together. So in this way, we would make a concrete implementation plan and go forward. So on your table, we prepared the HELP IFI Jakarta statement, its draft version. So in this statement, this is toward an interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary partnership to consolidate flood risk reduction and sustainable development. This draft consists of the 3 chapters: our assessment of the present status and the proposed key direction and actions. Present status, we have the 6th bullet, and we identified increasing the losses, and as a background, human factors and climate change and the globalization pointed out, and the gap between science and society and the lack of the effective interagency coordination are identified as a problem. And as a key direction, 3 global agenda and the budgetary limitation and the capability And the spiral up approach, such a necessity is identified. And interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary approach, and quantifying and minimizing the uncertainty by the science and technology are requested. So, and then data assessment, change identification, political and public awareness, and preventive investment and response and recovery capabilities should be enhanced. And as an action, we identify who should do what. And each country requested to establish a platform on war and disaster as a part of the national platform. And IFI partners request to assist that platform. And the donors are invited to support the collaboration by the incremental way, And we launched this activity in Asian Pacific region, but it should be expanded all over the world. Thank you very much for your cooperation for finalizing this draft during this symposium. At the end of this side event, we would approve this statement and pass this statement to HELP tomorrow. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu, Professor Toshio Koike. You may return to your seat. Distinguished guests, delegates, and also all participants. For our next program, we'd like to hear about national strategy for IFM. And therefore, we'd like to invite to come to the stage. Please welcome from Sri Lanka, Professor Srikanta Herath, as the Senior Advisor of Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development of Sri Lanka. Please welcome Professor Srikanta Herath.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be here. I would like to thank Professor Koike and ICHAM for giving me this opportunity to share some of the experiences of a new initiative we are starting in Sri Lanka related to IFI. Water is a major cause of disasters in Sri Lanka. 72% of our disasters are flood-related, 72% flood-related, 27% are drought-related. So integrated water management is very important. In this presentation, I'll talk about a demonstration project which is implementing a strategy for Colombo region, which we hope to upscale to the whole country, depending on the success. The trigger of this event, this initiative, was the floods Colombo experienced in May 2016. During the past 32 years, there had been 11 major floods in the city. The last flood was the biggest since 1989. Most of them occurred during the southwest monsoon from May to September. This time we had heavy rains in the both upstream, midstream, and downstream, with about 515 millimeter total rainfall. 96 deaths were confirmed, about 700 houses were damaged, completely damaged, about 5,000 partially. There was a big criticism by the public and also by media about the way this flood was handled by different agencies. As you can see, they say, Daily Mirror says, where was the much hyped disaster preparedness? Sunday Times, disaster at Disaster Management Center. Equipment worth billions unusable because it was left to idle. In fact, Sri Lanka spends quite a bit of resources on flood control. At the moment, if you just check on the projects funded only by the World Bank, there are 11 ongoing projects related to flood management, close to about $970 million. Out of that, those marks in red are directly related to hydrometeorological services improvement and flood improvement, which is close to about $500 million. So there's a need to make sure that these investments have effective returns. And one of the ideas we have is not to follow the top-down approach of fixed projects, but to follow a bottoms-up approach. in scaling up a pilot project and getting it scaled up so that we would have optimal conditions suited for the country's needs. So after this big flood, there had been a discussion among a number of agencies, related stakeholders, and everybody agreed that there should be a flood control and water management strategy with a holistic approach and participation by all stakeholders. At the same time, Sri Lanka is embarking on a new big project. It's called Megapolis Development. The idea is to make the whole western region a big megapolis. A new ministry has been established called Megapolis and Western Development, which is entrusted with this task. It is the Colombo Flood Control Agency is also under this ministry, as well as the Urban Development Authority. And they need to assess the short-term and long-term flood risks for sustainable urban development. And I've been asked to assist the ministry in setting up a mechanism for integrated flood management in the country. Now, as with many other countries, we have a lot of challenges. We now have a national government, which means we have participants from all different parties. We have 45 cabinet ministers, and 9 ministries are directly related to water issues. We have many agencies with overlapping and interconnected responsibilities without a mechanism for effective coordination. Also, all these agencies have their own programs with different donor agencies, so it's very difficult to assess the current and future flood safety. And we also realize there's a lack of qualified staff because it's spread over and we don't have a critical mass to get things done. I'm sure these are very common problems to most of us. And based on that, based on this discussion over the past months, we came up with a proposal first to develop an information and communication system with real-time forecasting. Then secondly, to transform this system to real-time control and implementation of risk-based response. The idea of risk-based response is that we understand the needs of each constituents, the affected people, based on their risk and the needs for warning and response relief. And thirdly, to improve the current flood safety through structural and non-structural measures using the system. And finally, to make use of these information systems for improving water management, especially hydropower. The biggest hydropower system in the country is located in the Kalani River Basin in Sri Lanka, as well as for the water supplies. And finally, to improve the day-to-day quality of life through advice to agriculture, transport, and so on. Now, the Colombo system consists of the Kalani River, which is managed by the irrigation department. Then we have a system of canals which drain the water, which is managed by the Sri Lanka Land Reclamation and Development Corporation. The secondary drainage is managed by the Colombo municipality. So the activities we had so far was to have individual discussion with the Irrigation Department, Department of Meteorology, Land Reclamation and Development Corporation, Survey Department, National Building Research Organization, Disaster Management Center, and the World Bank. And we organized the interagency meeting in which all the agencies agreed to set up an interagency mechanism in which there are 2 committees. One is a steering committee composed of the senior management, and the other one is a working group consisting of engineers seconded from these institutions. At the moment, there are 20 engineers seconded from all these institutions to work together to set up this system. Very important decision taken at the second steering committee meeting was to make all hydrometeorological data free of charge in the country. Then we also had linkages to the national universities, so where the postgraduate programs have opened up opportunities for these ministerial employees. We also have designing a new real-time control facility, and most importantly, last week, a cabinet paper was drafted and submitted, which is now under discussion to establish this interagency system. Within the next 1 year, we would like to come up with the basic output from the system. This is the overview of the system implementation. We have 3 units, rainfall, which satellite and radar data, as well as gauge data. Radar system is coming from Japan in the next year, and satellite data is also supported with the Japan Aerospace Agency. We have a hydrology unit and an urban water unit, and 3 computational engines, one for the real-time information, disaster response. Second one is for the development planning for the Ministry of the Western Development. And the third one is for the control of important structures, especially there are 2 new tunnels now being constructed to drain the water in the Colombo and the pumping stations control. We have the international support from different universities and research organizations, as well as the local universities. And we have identified the role of each of the stakeholders in the development and implementation of the system. Already there are enough systems which are working to set up the whole control and water management system. We have in rainfall, we still need to carry out certain fine-tuning on using the satellite data as well as radar data. But for hydrology, we have 2 different systems ongoing. For hydrodynamic, we have the Denmark MIC system and the US system on flow 2D. The World Bank is setting up the Australian system 2Flow, as well as we are expected to have the Japanese RRI system functioning by next year. The economic assessment has already been done for structural pre-disaster loss estimation. At the moment, the World Bank is supporting a program on total loss estimation. We will have in the future water management as one of the major components, especially the urban drainage and control and information for agriculture and so on. The biggest challenge we found was to find ways to incorporate the different plans of different organizations. When you take on the Disaster Management Center, they want to increase floods to cover multi-hazards. The hydrometeorological departments want to increase the hydrometeorological services. The megapolis ministry want to have the water management and integrated. So getting the existing projects to come up with the compromise has been the biggest challenge. We are going to set up this center under the existing World Bank project on Metro Colombo Urban Development Plan, which is looking at the Colombo Metro region, and then next year to upscale it to national level through another World Bank project on climate resilience under its phase 2 program. So in conclusion, developing a sustainable framework is a big challenge, which will take a long time, and an iterative approach is very important. It's very difficult to convince an iterative approach is required to achieve good results in this program. And I believe local capacity development is very important and essential, and we hope the IFI and its partners will support these activities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Srikanta Herath. You may return to your seat. And next, still with the same topic of national strategy for IFM, we'd like to invite to come to the podium, please welcome from Netherlands, Mr. Koos Wierix, as Chancellor of Ministry of Infrastructure and the Environment Kingdom of the Netherlands.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dank u hormat, Pak Basuki, Mr. Angtu, Pak Danis, Pak Imam, Pak Ari. It's a great pleasure for me to be back in this building. I had the privilege to work here together with Pak Basuki, Pak Ari, and many others for 5 years, working on water management in Indonesia, flood management in Indonesia, the tsunami in Aceh, the port of Mariahati, and many, many other things. So it's a great pleasure to be here and to share again some Dutch lessons with my Indonesian friends, but of course with the broader community of help. I have an enormous amount of slides. I will not show them all to you. Well, this is what happened last year, many, many important decisions at the world scale. And this is New York, this is Quito, those are the capitals. And now the big question is how to bring it down to earth and to do the projects that need to be done. Well, Sustainable Development Goals are in the heart, have water in their heart. Water is everywhere. It's flood management, but it's also important for many, many other issues. Now, in this context, we talk about disaster risk reduction, And like many other goals and targets of the SDGs, we have a very ambitious goal, reduce the number of victims, reduce economic damage. And well, you already heard a lot of figures here. It's clear that the task ahead of us is enormous. What I'm going to do very quickly is show you two things from the Netherlands. We are a country of water, we have a history of water. And I tell you something about our water management in the Netherlands, and I tell you something about what we are doing with the knowledge we gained in the rest of the world. And well, I've told this many times before, but 2/3 of our country are at flood risk, from the sea, from the rivers. And yeah, we had to live with that for ages, for centuries. And we did a lot in history. We did land reclamation. Here you see Schiphol Airport now. When you land at Schiphol Airport and you come down, you are at -5 below sea level. Now that's the sort of challenges we have to deal with. We had many storms in the past, and the biggest one that's still in our head in the Netherlands is 1953, where, well, comparable to the rest of the world, it's small, but for us it was huge. And this marked the moment where we said, it's not going to happen again, never again, such a flood. And we started a big program, the first Delta Plan, and most of you have seen what we did there over the ages. All kinds of technical constructions to protect the country. And in fact, everybody in the Netherlands felt safe, and still they feel safe. But then we had in the US Hurricane Katrina, and suddenly we became aware it can happen anytime, everywhere. And now we won't have a hurricane category 5 in the Netherlands, but we have big storms, we have other problems. So it opened our eyes again. You may think you are safe, but yeah, there's always a risk that something happens. So we completely renewed our Delta program, and yeah, we had to tackle all the challenges, and well, you can see them all here. In fact, we have water coming from all the sides, from the sea, from the rivers, coming from the underground and from the rain, and it's all causing problems. And climate change is adding to that. So those are the challenges. At the same time, our country is developing. Our national product is produced behind the dikes, and yeah, if something goes wrong over there, the whole Dutch economy yeah, will be killed, more or less. So at the same time, we worked together with the OECD, and they made an analysis of our policy, and they pointed out that, well, we are not completely fit for the future, and they made a lot of recommendations to us what we can improve in the Netherlands. And OECD is doing a lot of those studies all around the world, and they are very helpful. Now, in the end, we came up with a new Delta program in the Netherlands with a very simple goal: keep the Netherlands safe, and let people live there and make their money over there. And make sure that we have fresh water, because with the pressure from the sea, we have saltwater intrusion. And yeah, let's work on our economy and using water as an instrument for that. Now, we do that with a policy in 3 layers. Be prepared, build your dikes, make your constructions in time, and maintain them. At the same time, use spatial planning, land use policies to live with the water. And in the end, it always can go wrong. Be prepared for the disaster and have your response ready. So we came up with Room for the River programs, and now there's a lot of systems in that. I'm not going to tell you. And in fact, we have a very basic program where we say every couple of years we make a new Delta program. We have a special commissioner at almost minister status who's keeping all those layers of government together. We have a Delta fund, and that's the big challenge, I would say, for everybody in this room. We invest in the future. We don't wait for the disaster We put our money in development, and then the disaster doesn't happen. And in the end, that's much wiser, I would say, and everybody understands it, but it hardly ever happens in the world. We have legislation to cover this all, and on the basis of this system, we can continue. Now, we learned a lot about prevention, about looking ahead, about integration, about participation. The words are familiar to everybody. The way to apply those principles are much more difficult. Now, what do we do with all those knowledge? We want to share it with the world. We do that at the multilateral levels. We work at the UN. We work in this HELP group, together with all the institutions you see over there and many, many more. We are very active in New York on working on this global architecture for water, because we want to keep it all together. We have bilateral programs with many, many countries, and Indonesia is one of them. Myanmar is another. We have disaster risk reduction teams. We have a Delta coalition. Now, I will run through them. I will not talk about the SDGs. It was already mentioned. We are participating by Dr. Han in this high-level panel of water. Our Prime Minister is in there. And again, this is, I would say, New York level, and they have to push down and to make the work done. They have to help us find the money to take the measures. But it's a long, long way down, and I think it's a big challenge for this group to do their job. Now, this is the panel with Dr. Han, with our Prime Minister, with Prime Minister of Australia. I mentioned we have a Delta coalition, and that's supposed to be something practical, like this help group. No formal structures, simply a group of countries working together, exchanging knowledge, trying to put water on the international agenda on the one hand, from the way up, down, to the way up, but at the same time trying to help each other in implementing those difficult goals and facing those huge challenges. And I'm very happy to share with everybody more about this coalition, and I will certainly talk to my Indonesian colleagues again about this. We, like I said, want to help other Delta areas, and now this is one of example only on the drawing board, but what we are doing in Indonesia. This Sandy, New York, and we played a big role in the reconstruction over there. And in fact, we started as the Dutch developing Manhattan, so we in fact made the first errors, I suppose. But when we can help, we do that all over the world. We have a cooperation with Myanmar, and our minister, who unfortunately cannot be here today, but we talked to her yesterday on the airport in Kuala Lumpur, and she really hopes that this meeting will be a success, and tomorrow too. We have a water cooperation with Indonesia, covering many, many aspects. Flood protection, food and ecosystem, supply and sanitation, climate, of course. And in fact, in 2 or 3 weeks' time, half of the Dutch cabinet will come, almost half of the Dutch cabinet, including our Prime Minister, will come to Indonesia. We will visit Jakarta, Semarang, Bali, and cover a huge amount of issues. And we're going to meet Pak Basuki and the others again over there. Now, this is the things we were talking about in Jakarta. When you have time, go to the northern coast and see with your own eyes. The problem here is not sea level rise, the problem is land subsidence. The land is going down. And last year we had a beautiful workshop over here with people from Japan, Korea, Italy, the Netherlands, looking at this land subsidence caused by groundwater extraction. And we can learn so much from each other on these issues, and that's the sort of things we want to promote in this help group, in this Delta Coalition group. Use the experience of others, don't invent the wheel again, and try to implement it in practice. So in the end, it's all about global goals, local action, and it's all about the people, poverty alleviation. We're doing it for prosperity, for development, for the environment. And we're making a next step here today and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koswirix. You may return to your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after we heard about national strategy for IFM, now we'd like to hear about contribution by science and technology communities. Therefore, we'd like to invite to come to the podium Dr. Shinichi Sobue, Mission Manager from JAXA, who will give a speech about satellite remote sensing. Please welcome Dr. Shinichi Sobue.
Thank you very much, and His Excellency and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shin Sobe from the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. I'm very honored to be here and to make a presentation about our technology to supporting the health activities as well as the International Flood Initiative. So today, I would like to explain about briefly Japanese space programs as well as how to apply our data to the water-related disaster topic, including some of the ADB project, as well as a bilateral collaboration with Indonesia. So this is our Japanese satellite. From the 1980s, we launched the several Earth observation satellites to providing the Earth observation data, including the precipitation and temperatures, and as well as vegetation index and land surface information. And currently, we operating some of the satellite, including the Global Precipitation Measurement Mission, GPM, and also the Greenhouse Gas Observing Satellite, GOSAT, as well as the Seismic Aperture Radar Satellite, L2. So this is one of the examples how to using our satellite technology to improving the weather forecasting. By using the satellite-based radars, we can improving the mesoscale models of the weather forecasting. This is a collaboration project with the Japanese Meteorological Agency. By integrating the usage of our satellite-based radar data with the ground-based information, their weather forecasting model is improving. So by using the satellite data, we can provide the more accurate weather forecasting with the current technology. So I hope that this kind of the assimilation work or the improvement of the weather forecasting should be done not only for Japan, but also the BMKG in Indonesia and other countries. And also, by using the satellite, it's not only to, in the weather forecasting areas, not only to assimilating the data, but also by using the satellite data, we calibrating the ground-based observation. Like for the ground-based radars, sometimes it's not enough to cover the entire countries, especially for the Indonesia, because you have the surroundings a very big ocean. So in that case, your ground-based radar is not enough to reaching the far away. And also, if you have the 2 or 3 radars, how to unify how to checking the qualities of the ground-based radars. Therefore, by using the satellite-based radar, we can providing the support to calibrating the ground-based radars. So by using our satellite, we can providing some support for the ground-based observations. This is also the weather forecasting areas. And also, it's very important to monitor in this region by using this kind of technology for the typhoon monitoring. And some of the islands, even in Japan, we have enough ground-based observation radar network. However, unfortunately, some of the isolated islands cannot have such kind of capability, even if in Japan. So this is one of the typical example in Japan. It's still the Tokyo district, but it's very far away from the downtown Tokyo. So they don't have enough capability for the weather information. Therefore, they are eager to using our satellite-based technology to monitor the typhoons and also the rainfall, because in this island, only one rain gauge station is located. So therefore, they don't have enough capability to providing the rainfall information or typhoon information, only by using the ground-based observation. Therefore, they would like to using our satellite-based technology. It might be same as in the island countries like Indonesia or Philippines and other Southeast Asian countries. So this is our rainfall product. So calling the GS map is a satellite-based precipitation information. So by integrating the several satellites, not only our own Japanese satellite, but also the European, the American satellite with a geostationary satellite like Himawari, we can provide the hourly data for the precipitation, 0.1 degree around the world within the 4 hours after the observation. So the events in the ocean area, you can get the rainfall data every hour within the 4 hours delays. And also we recently to providing the less 1 hour within the 30 minutes, we can provide the rainfall information in this region, in the Himawari region, our satellite region. Therefore, in the Southeast Asia, we can provide the 0.1 degree mesh rainfall data hourly within the 1 hour. So if you don't have the ground-based observation, you can get the data within the hour by using the satellite. So you can see the URL here. So you can download all of the data freely available. So by using these data, you can provide the more early warning system by using this kind of data. However, this is an example for the rainfall from the satellite. You can see the several typhoons. This is the intensity of the rain. The red color is more high rain, and the blue color is low rain. Again, this is 4 hour delays for the entire world. And so within these Himawari territories, Himawari region, we can provide the data within the hour. So you can get the data within the hour. However, satellite is not the almighty method because of the limitation of the temporal resolution, time series of the limitation. We need to calibrate the satellite-based data. Therefore, we have to integrate use with a satellite with ground-based observation. This is the ground-based radar, and this is the original our satellite-based data. When you compare with this data and this data, satellite data is underestimating. Therefore, we definitely do calibrating the satellite data by using some of the rain gauge or rain data. So after the calibration, we can get this result. It's very close with the ground-based radar. However, still some of the typhoon, this rainfall is still underestimating. Therefore, sometimes you have to be very careful to using this kind of the data. So this is an example how to using this kind of technology to improving the flood warning. Under the ADP project, led by Mr. Kim, and this was ADP technical assistant project. Our JAXA is supporting this project in Bangladesh, Philippines, Vietnam. And one of the key is because of the Bangladesh, they don't have enough language system in country, and also they have some difficulty to getting the data in the other countries, especially the upstream, because most of the main river in the Bangladesh is coming from the India or Nepal. Therefore, they don't have enough rain information in the upstream, and they would like to extending the reading time from the 3 days to the 5 days to evacuating not only the people, but also the livestock and also the agriculture product. Therefore, they need the upstream data. But they have the difficulty to getting the upstream rainfall data from the India and Nepal. Therefore, by using the satellite-based data, they can to extending their capability not only for their in-country, but also to the upstream of the river. By using our satellite-based rainfall information, they can extend it, their flood alert from the 3 days to 5 days. This is a collaboration project by the ADB and us with respecting countries, not only for the Space Technology Agency, but also the Water Board or DMC, Disaster Management Center in their countries. And also this system also providing the capability to providing the final information by the short message services in their own local language. Because sometimes it's very difficult to know what is happening only by using the English or web-based interface. Therefore, we just disseminating such early warning information by using the short message services to the officer in the local government. And this is only the future ideas, how to collaborate and work in these regions. Because sometimes in ASEAN or Southeast Asia or Asian region, we have a variety capability and also the variety knowledge. Therefore, we would like to propose to working together to establishing the water-related centers and to providing the information to these regions. And also in the future, if like Indonesia and some countries already starting to launching the new satellite, small satellite. Therefore, in collaborating with each country's satellite, we can providing the integrated data centers and to disseminating this kind of information and also the knowledge sharing. That is our future ideas. So in the next month, we have the Asian Pacific Regional Space Agency Forum in Manila. In that time, we would like to start to discussing this kind of issues, this kind of topic, as well as this kind of the application services in this region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu, Dr. Shinichi Sogui, for the speech. And next, still with the same topic, which is contributions by science and technology communities, we'd like to invite to come to the podium Dr. Kenyu Komura, President of JWA or NARBO, to deliver a speech about IWRM.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Hanson Su, Your Excellency, Dr. Baski Hadimulu Jono, Your Excellency, Dr. Aung Tsu, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kenyu Komura, President of Japan Water Agency. We have JWA later on, and JWA serves the Secretary of NARBO, Network of Asian River Organizations. NARBO was established in 2004 for the purpose of sharing the information and lessons among RBOs to promote IWRM in Asia. Your Excellency, Dr. Baski, was the first chair of NARBO and has been contributing NARBO's activity very much. NARBO is propagating IWRM spiral up model. This model is a gradually spiral up process of recognition, conceptualization, planning, implementation, and evaluation of water-related problems. This time, I would like to introduce our examples of flood control measures around Tokyo, where 2020 Olympic will be held, as the IWM example, and refer to our expectations for IFI. Up to the beginning of the 19th century, Tokyo was protected by funnel-shaped implana and low-height levees such as Nihon Zutsumi and Sumida Zutsumi to restrict flood inflow to Tokyo. Upstream area of those two levees served as retarding basin. The population of Tokyo at that time was 1 million. At 1910, a large-scale flood occurred. Flood overtopped Nihon Zutsumi and Sumida Zutsumi, destroyed those levees and inundated Tokyo. In response to this big disaster, as the capital submerged, Japanese government planned and constructed Arakawa floodway as build back approach. The floodway was located at that time rural areas, not flooding into central part of Tokyo. After the floodway construction completion, Tokyo has not been suffered flood damage. Owing to no flood damage, population and economic activities growed up very high. How changed Tokyo is. But the course of flood management of Tokyo after the Araka floodway completion was not so smooth. There was severe ground subsidence caused by groundwater pumping up, risk of storm surge by typhoon, and so on. To cope with these problems, groundwater pumping up was prohibited by laws and supplied surface water by construct multi-purpose dams upstream. They also have flood control function. Against storm surge, high tide dike were constructed at coastal zones and typhoon warning, high tide warning systems were developed. Nowadays, flood management around Tokyo is still going on. Breach-proof levee, such as not breaked by flooding, is constructing with urban developments. We call it super levee. Its width is very wide and the slope of it is very gentle, so it's never breached by flood, and buildings and houses can be built on. And promoting timeline, which define actions to be taken before flood occurs. Actions include flood defense, traffic control, evacuation, and so on. Thus, I introduced the experience of Tokyo flood management from point of IWRM view. Nihon Dutumi and the Sumida Dutumi project before 20th century is a first spiral. Araka floodway is a second spiral. Multi-purpose dams and high tide dike and so on are the third spiral. And super levee and timeline are the fourth spiral of IWRM. Tokyo flood management has been spiraled up that way. Many Asian large cities are located floodplain like Tokyo. They have many water-related problems, such as water pollution, water shortage, ground subsidence, high tides, so on, but especially flooding. To solve these problems, science ability, planning ability, consensus building ability, policy making ability, execution capacity, and so many abilities are needed. NARBO has been sharing information and lessons among RBOs and are doing capacity buildings by training programs and workshops. NARBO is expecting to coordinate with IFY through the IWRM promotion. I expect that the result of the discussion today will be reflected in the HELP conference tomorrow, COP22 in November, and the discussion in the conference on high-level panel on water. Thank you for your audience.
Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu, Dr. Kinyu Komura. You may return to your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, delegates, and also participants, before we continue our program with panel discussion, we're going to have a short break. And we'd like to invite all of you to enjoy the coffee break that has been served on the area across this room, the one that you had your lunch earlier, the Sapta Taruna room. And we're going to see you guys again. We hopefully to see you guys again here at approximately 10 minutes from now. So, to begin our next session, and thank you very much, and enjoy your coffee break.
Yes, we
Hello.
can hear you. Hello.
Good afternoon. Yeah. We have a problem at the moment anyway with my camera apparently. So, I'll try to fix it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Miyamoto-san, I will mute you for a while because there is a lot of noise coming from your end during the break. Yes, I will mute you. I will mute your mic. Johannes, I think you are presenter now, so you may try to share your screen if you wish to project your PPT. And I think you can
see it?
Yes, now I see the screen, and there is option also. There is also an option to share the application, so then you can share the PPT projection, so that then the figure is a little bit bigger. It's not like share screen, but share application, and you can select the program.
Okay, just a second. Share application. Share file, share screen.
Share application.
And where do you have that?
Sorry.
In the share thing? Yeah, application, okay. And then it's the PowerPoint, okay.
Yeah, and then if you project it, it should show like a little bit bigger.
Okay, wait. Oops. This is the wrong PowerPoint. Hello? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good.
Don't
I just
worry.
need to find you again. Do you have me now on the big screen? My presentation?
No. Try again share and then application. I think your sharing ended.
Share application.
How it's coming?
Okay, and now I could...
If you project it. Yes.
Yeah?
Can you see it?
I can see it, yeah. I have only 2 slides with a few keywords, so I'm not going to talk very long.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. So,
But my
you can...
video is still not working. You can just say it's foggy in Geneva.
Well, we believe it.
Let's see a sign
It's still
control.
right.
Notes, audio connection, computer audio setting, meeting info, audio and video statistics.
But it looks like the camera is, I don't know, isn't it covered with something, or it looks like
No, the camera should work. It worked 5 minutes ago. I can wait a little while. Maybe somebody can fix it. I'll see if somebody knows. So I'll be back in 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Maybe now in 5 minutes or like...
Okay.
Oh, no.
I'll
For your presentation maybe later, but if you wish to get the start of the session...
Yeah, I think it's good.
Maybe
if
in
I
5
can
minutes
get
it will begin.
Okay.
Miyamoto-san? Miyamoto-san? Yes. If you check the screen, you can see Johannes' presentation. Can you see it on the screen? So, how it will be projected? Yes, so how do you plan to... Yeah, well, the problem is with the camera, it doesn't work well. It looks like, yeah, he's trying to fix it within the next 5 minutes. But I'm just wondering, you will project your screen? Miyamoto-san, you will project? Okay. Yeah. We can see it. Yes. Yes. Yes, I can see it. Yeah, before Johannes shared his presentation, but it's now switched off. Miyamoto-san, you can make the right panel of the screen, which is showing the video. You can make it smaller. You can make it smaller, and the left screen where the PowerPoint will be shown can be bigger. Like make it narrow. The right part can be made narrow. A little bit. No. From the middle. Yeah, like you take the left corner of the PK. Yeah, this one, and go to the right, and it will be narrower because the PowerPoint will be shown in the white space on the left. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, so you can drag the right part where the video is shown can be made a little bit smaller, I think. And then it will leave more space for the PowerPoint. Just suggestions on the screen. Or like this, yeah. So there is a... Oh, this is different. The left edge of the video panel, if you take it and drag it to the right, so it will get narrower, and the wider part will be left for the...
Yeah, hi. I was just...
No. While you are doing it bigger, on other side. What? There is this, I see. Now I don't see. So no, I see this large PK gray square. So I think if you take the left edge of that and move it to the right, so then it will become narrower, which will make the space for PowerPoint bigger. The PowerPoint will show up on the left. Not look at you, just make it a little bit smaller. It's like if you go by your mouse over it, it will show the possibility to make it smaller, the video.
La présentation et tout à l'autre ordinateur, ça va son quand même. Tu tu as une caméra pour WebEx qui fonctionne? Ah, voilà, je peux le faire. Je dois te envoyer le truc là.
No, because his camera is not working well, so he may not be able to show. So then you even can close the panel with participants, so you will not see anything, just the screen, the white screen with the description of the meeting. And this white, yeah. No. Yeah, you,
I can share my application.
This is okay. Yeah, this is what I meant. Now you did it.
Yeah, I can see your screen and my screen, it's okay. I can work like that.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so when do we start now? My camera gives this here. Okay.
Yeah, Miyamoto-san, you should call them back. It's more than 10 minutes. They were promised 10 minutes and it's more now. Just joking. Tired, I know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we're about to begin our next session, we're hoping that you can enter this meeting room once again because we're about to start our next session.
Petra, can you hear me?
Kepada para delegasi dan juga
Yes, we can
partisipan,
see you.
kami harapkan Anda untuk dapat memasuki ruangan ini kembali.
Now we can see you.
Dikarenakan
Yeah,
sesi yang kedua
I think
akan segera kami mulai.
You
Terima
can't
kasih.
hear me?
We can. Now I see you.
You can see and hear me now.
Yes.
Okay, super.
You look good.
Good. Yeah, there's always some last-minute solution to all the problems.
So what was the problem?
There was a mismatch with the camera selection thing in the laptop.
Okay.
But it works now. Mm-hmm.
All right, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to invite all of you to join us again in this meeting room because we're about to begin our next session. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to invite all of you to proceed to this meeting room once again as we're about to begin our next session in a while. Thank you.
Yeah, I can hear everything well. It's okay, yeah.
Baik, sekali lagi kami undang Bapak dan Ibu yang masih berada di luar area meeting room ini untuk dapat segera bergabung kembali karena sesaat lagi sesi yang kedua akan segera kami mulai. Sekali lagi kami undang Bapak dan Ibu yang masih berada di luar area meeting room ini untuk dapat segera memasuki ruangan karena sesaat lagi sesi berikutnya akan segera kami mulai. Terima kasih. Okay, good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to International Flood Initiative, site event of the 8th meeting of HELP with the topic of flood resilience under climate change essential to sustainable development. And now for our second session of today's program, we will have a panel discussion, and therefore we'd like to invite our IFI partners and also contributors to come to the stage and take your seat. First, please welcome Dr. Ari Setiadi Murwanto from Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing Indonesia. Next, please welcome Dr. Johannes Coleman from WMO. And next, Professor Sabas Khan from UNESCO. Next, we've got Dr. Iwan Gunawan from World Bank. Next, we'd like to invite Dr. Jill Hong Kim from ADB. Next, please welcome Mr. Kimio Takeya from JICA. Next, we'd like to invite Mr. Kei Kudo from JWA. And last but not least, Dr. Kenzo Hiroki from HELP. And this discussion will be led by Professor Toshio Koike as the moderator. Please welcome Professor Toshio Koike. The stage is yours.
It is again, thank you very much for joining. And we have totally 8 panelists, including Dr. Johannes Kuhlmann from the Geneva at the WMO office. First of all, we would invite all of the panelists for their 4 to 5 minutes presentation, and then very short discussion among the panelists. After that, the discussion with audience will be opened. I would ask all of the panelists to point out what kind of the contribution can their organization or their group to this IFI. And as I mentioned, we would develop or establish, in collaboration with each country, the platform on the water and the disaster as a part of the national platform. How can their organizations, our panelist organization, support to such establishment of the platform? And I myself introduced the IFI new strategy and implementation framework. I would ask all of the panelists to make a comment. So firstly, I would like to invite Dr. Ali Sediari Muant, the PU, the Indonesia.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start my comment and to answer the question of Professor Koike, I would like to look back a little bit. When I was a young engineer, it is easy for me because to be a good engineer, I only have to manage about the technical aspect, environment, and a bit of economic affairs. But I'm afraid nowadays the situation is different. In Indonesia, we have to manage about the gender, culture, urbanization, and climate change. So it is very difficult. Fortunately, we have a new spirit, collaboration. Yeah, today, this evening, we talk about collaboration. So, to start with, how we can adopt the initiative in International Flood Initiative, I would like to introduce what is going on in Indonesia. So, concerning about the water, weather, and climate information services in Indonesia, we have worked together. There is the Agency for Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics, KNMI from the Netherlands, Research Center for Water Resources, here Dr. William Putuhena there, and also Deltares. why we have to work with the Dutch institution, because if we talk about the climate change, so we have a long period of data. That's why we work together with